Who needs a house when you can have a
Yeah,
palace?
boy.
Yes, in this top 5 list, we have palaces. Houses, heck, even villas, for Christ's sake. I bet you did not see that one coming, did you? Well,
No!
before you get your popcorn and relax, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. Something tells me you're gonna really enjoy our content here, and I wouldn't want you to miss.
Yeah,
Okay, enough
boy.
advertising. Here's the top 5 most expensive houses in the world in 2024. In number 5, we have the Le Palais Boule, also known as the Bubble Palace, is a unique and iconic villa located in Théoule-sur-Mer, France. Designed by the Finnish architect antilia, the villa is characterized by its organic, bubble-like shapes and its futuristic appearance. The Palais Boule is estimated to be worth over 350 million euros. The Palais Boule was originally commissioned by Pierre Bernard in 1975 and was later purchased by the fashion designer Pierre Cardin in 1992. Cardin expanded the villa and added numerous features, including a swimming pool, tennis court, amphitheater, and several themed rooms. The interior of the Palais Boule is just as striking as the exterior, with curved walls, colorful furnishings, and a variety of unusual art pieces. The villa has hosted numerous events, including fashion shows, art exhibitions, and parties. In recent years, the Palais Boule has been the subject of much speculation, with rumors that Cardin was planning to sell the property. However, as of 2023, the villa remains in Cardin's ownership. Here are some additional facts about Le Palais Boule. The villa has 10 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms. The property is located on a cliff overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. The villa has been featured in numerous films and television shows. Le Palais Boule is a truly one-of-a-kind property that offers a glimpse into the world of luxury and extravagance. It is a must-see for anyone who is interested in architecture, design, or simply wants to experience something truly unique. Moving on at number 4 is another villa. The Villa Les Cèdres is a luxurious villa located in Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat, France. It is known for its extensive gardens, which are home to a variety of exotic plants and trees. The villa also features a large swimming pool, tennis court, and a helipad. Villa Les Cèdres was once owned by the Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich, who purchased it in 2008 for 300 million euros. However, Abramovich sold the villa in 2019 to an anonymous buyer for an undisclosed amount. The villa's gardens are considered to be among the most beautiful in the world. They are home to over 250 species of trees, including rare and endangered plants. The gardens also feature a number of sculptures, fountains, and water features. Villa Les Cèdres is a truly luxurious property that offers its residents a high level of privacy and security. The villa is also located in a prime location, with stunning views of the Mediterranean Sea. Here are some additional facts about Villa Les Cèdres. The villa has 10 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms. The property is located on a peninsula overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. The villa's gardens are home to a variety of exotic plants and trees, including olive trees, palm trees, and eucalyptus trees. The villa also features a large swimming pool, tennis court, helipad, and a number of other amenities. Villa Les Cèdres is a truly exceptional property that offers its residents a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It is a testament to the beauty and luxury of the French Riviera. I know, you are tired about villa this, villa that, but I hope you're gonna forgive me. At number 3, we have the Villa Leopolda is a luxurious villa located in Villefranche-sur-Mer, France. It is considered to be one of the most expensive properties in the world, with an estimated value of over 500 million euros. The villa was built in 1902 by King Leopold II of Belgium. It was later owned by the American businessman William Vanderbilt II and the British shipping magnate Basil Goulandris. In 2008, the villa was purchased by the Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich for an undisclosed amount. Villa Leopolda is known for its extensive gardens, which are home to a variety of exotic plants and trees. The villa also features a large swimming pool, tennis court, and a helipad. The interior of the villa is just as impressive as the exterior. The villa has 11 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and a number of reception rooms. The villa is also decorated with a variety of works of art, including paintings by famous artists such as Picasso and Matisse. Villa Leopolda is a truly exceptional property that offers its residents a high level of privacy and security. The villa is also located in a prime location with stunning views of the Mediterranean Sea. Here are some additional facts about Villa Leopolda. The villa is located on a peninsula overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. The villa's gardens are home to a variety of exotic plants and trees, including olive trees, palm trees, and eucalyptus trees. The villa also features a large swimming pool, tennis court, helipad, and a number of other amenities. Villa Leopolda is considered to be one of the most expensive properties in the world, with an estimated value of over 500 million euros. Villa Leopolda is a truly exceptional property that offers its residents a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It is a testament to the beauty and luxury of the French Riviera. Finally, at number 2, a house or a hotel? I don't know. Okay. At number 2, we have Antilia is a 27-story private residence in Mumbai, India, owned by Mukesh Ambani, the chairman of Reliance Industries. It is one of the most expensive private residences in the world, with an estimated value of over $2 billion. The building was named after the mythical Spanish phantom island of Antilia. It was designed by the U.S. architecture firms Perkins and Will and Hirsch Bedner Associates, and was built from 2006 to 2010. Antilia is home to the Ambani family, which includes Mukesh Ambani, his wife Nita Ambani, and their 3 children. The building has 27 floors, including a helipad, a swimming pool, a ballroom, a theater, a library, and a garage that can accommodate 168 cars. The building also has a staff of over 600 people. Antilia is a symbol of India's growing wealth and economic power. It is also a testament to the Ambani family's success and ambition. Now that we are done with the list, I will do a part 2 very soon. So subscribe, and I also believe you owe me a like. Thank you for watching. In French, we say, à bientôt.